network operation centers in Singapore.
Okay.
So they're in just 3 spots. So hopefully there's not a storm on both coasts, because then we're in trouble, right? Okay, so threats. Oh man, this is probably a really good article to go look up, by the way. If you are negotiating about whether we go cloud computing or not, I would read this. What happened is there was a reporter for Wired. He got hacked by his Apple iCloud. Hackers broke into his Apple iCloud account, I think, and from there called Apple support. Apple support helped him get more access to his data.
2 pieces of information.
With what was the 2 pieces
It was
though?
name and address, I believe.
Name and address. That's right, because they were like, it needs to be more layered. He said something about if they would have not been so lenient in their verification. So then they got his UDID, right? Got his UDID. That's an Apple ID thing that you can.
Which unlocked most of his emails because he had them tied together.
Right.
Which then spiderwebbed out and got.
And they were
more
trying to get to
accounts.
you were trying to get to his Twitter account, right, Curtis?
Yeah, they wanted to get a Twitter account and his Facebook actually. Those
Right.
were the 2 things they wanted.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to get to. So they could, and then they posted a bunch of racial slurs and all sorts of bad stuff. Yeah, just to basically.
It is basically to get at the Wired reporter.
Yeah.
That's all it was for.
They were trying to get at the Wired reporter. So, but here's the thing: is what he's pointing out is, so as all my stuff sits up in the cloud, and somebody gets in, they get everything. So be careful. What's that? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They wiped out his iPad, iMac. I thought they wiped out something else.
His iPhone.
His iPhone.
His phone, and the reason after they found out all this was going on, the main reason for wiping all those devices, where they figured if we take out all the devices he can reset his passwords and get his stuff back from, we have his account for a lot longer and able to cause a lot more damage.
Right. You wipe out the system so you can't reset your password. So, yeah. Get into one. Oh yeah, because they got into one, and then they have.
Yep.
You just need to get the one you got. So when you put your data up in the cloud, especially your customer data, and somebody breaks into your instance easily, because the security that you can turn on or off in there can be really lax or can be somewhat decent. I mean, you can do, you guys all know about IP spoofing, MAC address cloning. You can turn those things on, but obviously people can spoof them, right, and trick the systems into thinking that you actually are coming from that IP. But if you just add the more layers, it makes it a little bit more time-consuming and a pain in the butt for the threats to try and get into your systems. So I always recommend, and I recommend with my company, that we layered it and said, okay, username, password, obviously. IP address, MAC, better. Also, maybe a third verification of some sort, like a PIN number or dog name or some other arbitrary thing that nobody else would just know. That sort of thing. And now with mobile stuff, there's apparently the towers aren't as secure as anybody had thought they were. So if you just scan the tower information, because your phone is nice and secure, whatever, but as it sends, unless the data is encrypted, which usually, it's trying to go fast, so it probably, a lot of it isn't, goes to the tower, and then the tower's going to route it. If you sit after the tower connections, then you catch all that traffic and data. So apparently that's another one they're going for, is if you turn on mobile access to a cloud application, then as people are going by the towers, they're passing that data through. So then that's another area of open security, right? Oh wow, that's it. Holy cow! How long did I talk? 12 minutes? No, longer than 40 minutes. So okay, that's it, guys. That's all I really had. Do you guys have more questions about? Yeah.
So, what do you have to say about testing if you are the cloud provider as opposed to consuming a cloud service?
So let's say, for example, I work for Salesforce or Amazon or some cloud or service provider like that, or we decide to start offering, services, like here's an infrastructure as a service or something like that. If you are on that side of the fence, and it's more toward you're responsible for the data that's coming through and the services, it becomes a lot more on performance and uptime, reliability, and making sure, and security, because this thing needs to be up all the time to everywhere. Everybody's got to be able to access it. And you have to look at the usability side of what browsers do they work with, is it, visually aesthetic, all that good stuff, right? And you need to be secure as can be, because all you need is for one bad report, right, to come through that, hey, by the way, if you get, service through, let's say GoDaddy. Let's say GoDaddy offered a cloud solution or something. Hey, by the way, GoDaddy is all hacked and broken into, and it's no problem to get through their systems now. Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to use them anymore. In fact, I think they recently did get hacked. I think their official word is they weren't hacked, they screwed up. So it's either, okay, are you incompetent or are you sucking on security? It's a no-win situation there.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why the likes of Amazon and maybe Google are the ones that are doing it, because they've got enough money to invest in to make sure that they meet all the security regulations and all that type of thing.
And the constant checking of those systems and how and basically DOS attacks and things like that. Because there's still DOS attacks trying to run out there and things like that.
I think you can assume that they're going to get to your system through firewalls.
Well, here's the thing about firewalls, is all the firewalls out there that you can get, black hat hackers can get too.
Right. So
So they're going to test it against that first. But go ahead.
Given that assumption, protect your data as much as possible.
Yes. 1024 encryption of data as soon as it leaves wherever it's been decrypted. I mean, from my laptop, before it hits the next wire, I want it encrypted. Before it even touches this wire, I want it encrypted. So 1024, bit at least, right? So that way I know, well, even if this goes out to someone in like keylogger in between or something, I don't know, then it's already encrypted. They're not going to get it anyway. It doesn't matter. Have you guys ever heard of an application called TrueCrypt?
Yeah.
TrueCrypt? I use that for my own stuff because I created that file. All my stuff is encrypted on my own box. So even on my own system, even if I lost my system, somebody got a hold of it, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They don't know how to decrypt the data that's on this hard drive. And by the way, on the side, I'll let you guys know, I do PC support for friends and family and people who just call me up and stuff. I will all the time get, yeah, this isn't working here, you can just have it or whatever. And I'll get the hard drive and I'll pull it up and be like, wow, there's social security numbers on here and their moms. That's cool. Oh, here's a few of their passwords. That's wonderful. Like, I'll find that all the time. You can Google that. Who's online right now? Anybody online?
I can be.
If you get online, I'll show you a hack right now.
Maybe I can't be.
Is SkyTel not working?
I got LT here.
Here. Let's see if I can get on here. Where's the internet? There it is.
So what am I looking for?
So if you go to Google and you type in the Google search, type in title, all one word, this is a Google operator. In title, index.of, right there you're telling Google, I want the main page that just gives me access to stuff. Do a space, and I would do quote, docx, end quote, space resume. That operator right there will give you almost all the resumes that Google's ever touched. I found, what was the error? I found, I don't know, probably somewhere there about 100, 150 resumes out there. And 2 of them had their social security numbers, their financial aid, password, and username, home address, places they've worked, their parents' address, their parents' maiden name, I think their dog's name, things like this.
About testing detection and response to attacks.
So here's my favorite on that. My absolute favorite is honeypots. You guys know what those are? Honeypots? Oh, man. Okay, so honeypots, you guys can look this up too. Honeypots is where you basically build a fake environment, like your production environment, that filters for unsolicited traffic. And what you do is you basically set these up to capture people trying to attack your systems or capture your data, which you fill with BS data, by the way. You know how to scramble data? You know, like you got a customer account, but then you send it to some other guy's account, and then that guy's social security number you attach to somebody else. So it looks like a real social security number, but it's not that right person, so they don't know who it is.
So it looks like what they're looking for, but it's easy to get.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the real thing, but all the data is scrambled. And they don't know the algorithm to unscramble it. So all the data is really scrambled. And you set up the site or the system, and it's a honeypot system. So as it sees attacks trying to come in, it moves those over to blocked on those IPs and that traffic. So they're basically, it's a honeypot, right? They're flying in, oh, you're trapped. Okay, we don't allow that IP to come in. And then your real data over here has the firewall basically filtering for it. And then Microsoft came out with something called, this is funny, but this is the way it works, monkey honeys. Monkey honeys are systems that are set up to go look for bad guys out there. So they're called the monkeys, right, monkey systems, that are honeypot-like because they pretend to be end users trying to go visit websites and play Facebook games and things like that. And then what happens is when they catch a virus from going somewhere, oh, we know what to block. Now we know what to block. Now reset that machine because that machine caught a virus. So now you know how to block them that way. Does that help answer your question? Okay. There's lots of tricks like that.
So, of course, we're going to do the testing that we normally do with that software, if that product was sitting on our desktop. But when we put it out into the cloud, we suspect there's other stuff we should be doing. So you went to performance, uptime, security.
Configuration, integration. You got to make sure we touch those. Those are probably the biggest right there, honestly. With software as a service, configuration, verification, especially if you're using the third-party dev team.
So our customer is customizing their use of our service through configuration, integration with their systems, right?
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, when you were providing the service, it's, I need requirements from the end user, right? What do you guys need to do with it? Then bring that over here, and then we'll test that.
Yeah.
That way. That's how you go that way. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Oh. So now you guys got like 20 minutes to go wait to see who wins the iPad. Right? Okay.
Thanks very much, Bob.
Yeah, absolutely. No other questions, guys. Have a good day. Thank you. And thanks for coming to the conference. Yeah, that's it, you know. Not just this one. Apparently I have to do more of these conferences and testing things. I couldn't find one in Phoenix, so I said, you know, I'll just put one on. Right? Okay, I gotta put all this stuff back. And take some water, guys. I have to carry all this water back out.
Leave it to students.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll do that. Or put it in the bag and take it in the bag with you, take it home.